Hello everybody, it is me. Today I'm going to talk about Pokemon X and Y again. I thought the last video about X and Y was bad, but there have been a few new plot twists, such as Mega Pokemon, which is not Digimon obviously, original, and is so original that it's original like that Sonic fan character you saw on DeviantArt last night, and the 2DS and Pokemon Bank and all the other stuff. But let me break it down and get to the very little teeny details. First off, let me start off with Mega Pokemon. Mega Pokemon is basically, once upon a time, they watched an episode of Digimon at Game Freak. They went up, searched on YouTube, some Digivolution or something, and thought, hey, that's a nice concept, let's put it in our game. Or maybe they watched one of those other 4 billion animes where they somehow go super power and stuff. Well, Pokemon, they realized after years and years of being the same, they tried changing it up by throwing in gimmicks that add not much to gameplay, like Mega Pokemon. With Mega Pokemon, they basically took Pokemon and just threw in new forms and new designs. It's not really the Mega Pokemon part that's bad. I mean, sure, it's gimmicky, and sure, it will probably either not be used much, or it'll be hyped up and then most people won't give a shit, like, after a few days, like many of the other gimmicks in the past. Because it's only with certain Pokemon anyway, but here's how Mega Pokemon works. In battle, your Pokemon will turn into a superpower super form. And you know the best part about it? All these superpower super forms look like DeviantArt fan characters. And not even the best of them. They look like the worst of a DeviantArt fan character. I'm talking about bad colors, designs that barely look different. I mean, you have Mega Lucario, which basically, let's take Lucario, give it the same shitty color scheme as Zoroark, and boom, add a few more spikes and you've got a new character. That's like something a Deviant artist would do. But it gets worse. New Mega Kanto starters. No, I'm not cringing at it because it's a Generation 1. I'm cringing because they look like shit. They literally took the designs, added like a few features in paint, new Pokemon. Doesn't that sound like something you'd see out of a Sonic fan character? Or a Bat or OC? I mean, the only thing they need now is some emo backstory and a theme song, which is some Linkin Park or Fall Out Boy song. I mean, because that's how cliche these characters reek. They reek of everything wrong with DeviantArt. But these are official characters. These aren't fan characters. These are official characters. And you know the worst part about it is? They're just not that good. The characters are superpower in battle. In reality, it's probably, it'll be too overpowered for actually competitive battling, but I'm just making guesses at this point. What I can't deny is that they look like shit, and that it's a gimmick tacked on from other stuff. Next, the Nintendo 2DS. Basically, even the Nintendo fans think this is a dumb idea. Basically, they decided to make a 3DS, like these things, still the #1 game console in the playground, and thought that they needed to compete with the Leapster and other handhelds, which are big and stuff. So they made it without the clamshell, without the 3D, with a lower price. And you couldn't fit in your pocket if you wanted to. And this has an advantage. It's thinner than a 2DS is. So in other words, you couldn't even fit a 2DS in your pocket if you wanted to. And now, in my opinion, it's a dumb idea, but there is one reason why I'm bringing it up here in the XY video. Because they're releasing it on the same release date as X and Y. That should tell you something about what Pokemon has become now. It's become, it went from being a cool franchise where I actually tried to a franchise for little kids. And no, when Pokemon first came out, they didn't even market it to little kids to the extent they do now. I mean, every year they seem to try more and more of dumbing it down. But now it's time for the third problem. But now for the worst thing out of all these three things, since this is really all the relevant news. Pokemon Bank. That is what this new feature is. So let me give you a little background before I go into it. Remember back in Gen 4 when you could move your Pokemon from your Gen 3 game to your Gen 4 game for free? Well, Gen 5 you needed 2 DS's, but this was kind of explainable. And even though it was watered down some because you had to play some stupid minigame to get all your Pokemon, they still had that feature in. But then Gen 6 rolled around. And what do they do for it instead of download play, because that would make too much sense? They have this new feature called Pokemon Bank. What is this, you may ask? Well, remember back when you could move Pokemon for free? Now you have to pay $5. This is the kind of stuff people complain about. People complain about DLC being in games and how existing is bad. And yet, what do they do with this? They charge $5 a month just to move your Pokemon from one game onto another game. And that's what they've been doing. That's what they're doing with Generation 6. So you have to pay $5 of real money, your hard-earned money, just to move your Pokemon to a new game. Doesn't that sound a bit fishy to me when the last 2 generations let you do that for absolutely nothing? I think it does. It's like, it's a stupid idea, but the worst part is the fact that I haven't really heard criticism from it. I mean, whenever, say, one company offers DLC, there's a flame war. When a company offers not even that intrusive microtransactions, they're ruining gaming and they're evil. But of course they're not Nintendo. When they're Nintendo, charge you $5 for a feature that was free. Where's the backlash, everybody? It's just not. I don't even get it. In the end, I think it's a stupid idea, and it costs money just to do something that was free. Think about it for a second. It's a ripoff. Now, people are going to buy it because look at the people buying Pokemon games. You've got kids. You've got people who want to play MLG Pro competitive. You've got people who aren't it just for the characters. Even if the characters in X and Y are total crap, they'll just, you know, go on certain websites. Anyway. Yeah. And the sad thing is, there's better graphics on older games. I mean, the graphics look terrible. The music, I heard the music, which got leaked. It sounds like elevator music. I mean, I've heard better it sounds like elevator music or terrible fan music. Your choice. I've seen the gameplay of it, and it's the same, other than added gimmick Mega Pokemon and a few other added gimmicks, which came from other games such as Shin Megami Tensei, which came out years before Pokemon, and yet Pokemon still hasn't caught up to feature-wise. And of course, you've got other games. Like, what? Even Quake 2's got better graphics than Pokemon XY. Yes, Quake 2 has better graphics than Pokemon X and Y. That's how far behind X and Y's graphics are. The second you hold X and you look at XY's graphics up close, you see pixelated textures. The music is bland too, and the storyline's going to be the same as the last few. I mean, I've already seen what it is. Professor, Evil Team. It's the same game. For $40. Honestly, I don't hate Pokemon. What I hate is the direction Pokemon is going in. That is all I need to say, and that is all that needs to be said. I mean, if I hated Pokemon, I probably wouldn't have a Luxray avatar. I probably wouldn't be a Pokefur. I probably wouldn't any of that. But Pokemon's going in a crappy direction. And I really can't afford to keep throwing out $40 out the window every time there's a new game if I'm not satisfied with the direction it's going in. And it makes me cringe all the time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.